Hello, good morning. I'm filming this in the morning. I don't know when it'll post, but good morning and happy Halloween and happy last day of Love is Blind Day. Well, I guess that was yesterday. I know I said in my video that I posted yesterday that I would not be posting anymore for the month of October, but I did want to go ahead and respond to the very last episode, to the reunion. I felt like for those of us that have been watching this season, there were some things that came out, there were some things that were confirmed. And really, for me, which is why I titled this video what I titled it, there was a lot of stuff I realized I was wrong about. And so I wanted to publicly state those things, put that on record. I was wrong. So let's go ahead, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. This video and this edit might be a little dry. I've been really busy this month when it comes to like editing videos and putting content out, whether it's been here, whether it's been over on my Patreon. And so I'm a little burnt out. And so this is going to be just kind of like straight to the point, really. So this video is called I May Have Been Wrong About Everything. I don't think I was wrong about everything this season. I think I was spot on with some of the things I said before the reunion. I think some things just need to be mildly corrected. And so I'm going to attempt to do that in this video. The first thing I was absolutely wrong about, and by the way, I'm not going in any order at all with the reunion. I mean, I literally just finished watching. I didn't watch it when it first aired last night because it came on just too late. I wasn't in the right frame of mind to be able to sit there and watch that because I know how stressful it was going to be, So I just finished it. So I'm not going to go through all the, maybe at the end I'll talk about some lighter details, but I'm definitely not going in order at all. I just want to talk about, some bullet points here. So the first thing I was absolutely wrong about that just glares out at me is the relationship between Alex and Tim. The entire season, if you've heard me talk about Alex and Tim, I was 100% on Tim's side. This is why I put that disclaimer in before I post my reviews of the season. I know we are getting an edit that has been produced for us. I know that the producers will protect some people and will put some people out to dry if that's what's going to bring in ratings. I know that the audience, the cast members themselves are making decisions about what they do and they don't want shown on camera. That's why I wish that Marissa and Ramses, I think that's how she says his name, Marissa and Ramses, I wish that they had exercised that self-awareness. Like, hey, we're not just having this moment, we're having this moment on camera. Because once you have it on camera, people are like, this is ours. This is ours to dissect. It belongs to us now. They might criticize you or defend you for what was shown on camera. I remember a couple episodes ago when Hannah was talking about Nick's sexual performance. And to me, as a woman who has dated and talked to friends or listened to friends talk about their experience, with intimacy when it comes to whatever is going on with them and their guy, I was like, okay, I understand that conversation. Like, I've definitely been in those before, but because the cameras are rolling, right? This is a show. And now that conversation was used for the show, she got a lot of criticism for talking about his sexual performance online. And we'll talk for in a second about all of the support that Nick gets. We'll talk about that because that kind of switched in this episode too. It switched in the episode. It didn't switch in real life because people are still 100% 10 toes down for Nick. No criticism of him at all, but we'll move on. So let's go back to Alex and Tim. They, I think, practiced a lot of self-awareness when it came to what was shown on the cameras. And as a result, we as an audience built a narrative around what we saw, but maybe not what was true. I was hard on Alex the entire season. The entire month of October, anytime I've talked about Alex, I've been criticizing her. Now, I did criticize Tim as well. I said, I think he was just there to replace a close family member. I think that he, him giving her his dead sister's bracelets was very out of line. And he was definitely trauma dumping on her in a kind of scary way. And to me, as a feelings person, as a feelings first person who is also incredibly aware of when you cross the line as far as like what you show emotionally, to me, that would have made me feel so uncomfortable. Like, I get it, but I'm not wearing your dead relative's bracelets. Like, we really actually don't know each other that well. You are showing me that you don't necessarily understand how to process and hold tough emotions with tact. And I think we saw that with Tim in this episode. Like he does not know how to hold big emotions, tough emotions. That is stressful for him. Anyway, so I did criticize him as well, but most of my criticism was with Alex. I called her a spoiled brat. I said, she's to blame for what happened in Cabo. I said, why would she go to sleep? Like, he stayed up for your family. Why would she? Whole time, Alex is just trying to protect what is shown on camera. And unfortunately for her, that backfired because Tim got the hero edit and she let him have it. Alex did not do what a lot of the other cast members did, the Notes app apologies, the Instagram, making a new TikTok every day to show I'm normal. She made a couple of them. And poked fun at herself, poked fun at sleeping, poked fun at taking naps, poked fun at eating them chicken fingers. But she did not come out and just lay her truth out on the line and defend herself the way Tim did. And I'm going to tell you something, and this is something that I've learned from being on the internet for a couple of years. The way you handle people attacking you when you know that's not your truth says so much more about how you feel about yourself and what weight you put on the opinions of others. So everybody got you wrong. If you're the kind of person that can say, let them be wrong until it's time, it's a very, very strong person. I know I have not always in my time been that kind of person. And I know Tim is not that kind of person at all. I think of all of the people on Love is Blind that were getting bad edits or that we saw a bad side of them or that they had a bad storyline or hell, they were just bad. Tim reacted the worst, which shows me that he is the kind of person that can take no criticism at all. He is super sensitive and highly emotionally unregulated, even though he says, oh, I just don't fight. I'm coming at you with emotion. I mean, what we saw in this reunion was that Alex might have been the reason why Tim was not completely shamed off the face of the earth. I still am unclear about what happened in Cabo, because we didn't see it. But according to them, she was going through something as far as missing her family. And Tim couldn't understand why her energy had switched to not being all about him. She goes from the pods, she goes to Mexico. A lot of this is happening really, really fast. And he wants people to be there for his emotions, but he doesn't know how to be there for hers. It's, how do I respond? How is this about me? Are you mad at me? You were fine and now this is happening. And listen, I'm not saying that's not a response. It's not a normal, but I am saying that it is problematic in a situation with two people where both people should be allowed to explore and emote. I want to also say Alex pointed out the space thing. So Tim's mom talked about needing space and how any woman that's with him is going to have to be okay with that he needs space. And Alex said, you say you need space, but when I need space, it's a problem. And I've been around people like that. I also want to point out that Alex's nap. So she got a lot of shit from people about the nap. I was people for sure. I have found through watching these shows that I tend to stick my nose up at, or I'm not as much of a fan when somebody's like, I need someone to take care of me and be softer on me. And that's probably a reflection of how I feel when need that, how I'm like, I got to tough it out and handle it myself. So you need to handle it yourself. Stay away, girl. But that's not a good way to be. I've got to work on that. Well, no, I don't. Yes, I do. Moving on. My point is that Alex finally explained to us that, I work in fashion and I bartend at night. It was a 1 hour nap. Or did he say it was what? I think the hours have always been like shifty, but it was a 1 hour nap and I took it because I was trying to take a break in between being with his family and going to work all night. And Tim had also posted like their text messages online, which I think is it's just so bitchy and so unnecessary. I do think that in certain situations, a text message or a comment or whatever helps clarify things, but be honest about what happened on the other person's side too, if necessary. And according to Alex, you didn't get a response because I had been at work all night. I just felt like we really got to see that Tim came in with so many emotional demands. He didn't make room for her at all. He didn't make room for her to adjust to the experiment. He didn't make room for her to adjust to him and all the things that he wants and that he needs. And he had no empathy for her when she needed softness. And I also want to say this, and I may have missed this initially, but this is something that's been said. Alex has a family where they deal with multiple sclerosis. And if you know anybody with MS, you know that when they get tired, they have fatigue. It's not a joke. I'm not saying she has that, but I am saying that maybe she does have something autoimmune. Maybe you never know. Also, and a lot of women were really protective of her because of this. Many of us deal with iron deficiencies. Okay, so that can make you very, very tired, especially if she's burning the candle at both ends. And I also remember in that scene, she said, I hadn't eaten all day. I literally, if I'll never be the kind of person that's like, oh, I forgot to eat. If I don't eat, it's because I am severely depressed, angry, mad, upset. And all I can do is drink iced coffee. Okay. But something got to be really wrong. There is no way. I'm not the kind of person that when I get depressed, I don't eat. When I'm sad, I don't eat. Go through a breakup, I don't eat, or a heartbreak or whatever. I'll be eating. I will eat. So the fact that she went through the whole day and she had to film and she hadn't eaten, I will admit, I will say it, I was wrong about Alex. I was wrong about Alex. And I think she's even more admirable because she let him have the hero edit. She let people clown her for the naps. She let people believe that she put her, she assaulted him in Cabo. She let this thing, and I know she said, hey, I have my truth. It'll come out. We're cool. But she could have acted so much worse online. She could have acted like him, the way he acted at that reunion. And, just to go back to what I was saying about being over emotional, but not knowing how to show emotional tact. I don't think Tim really understands how to hold his bigger emotions at all. And his confusion is so apparent. He is, I was trying to love. Why doesn't anybody understand? I'm just trying to love. Are you okay? And I love when Brittany stepped in and Brittany was like, here's the thing. She's telling you what you did. And yet you still go and ask her, what did I do to you? And that is something that I identify with, unfortunately, on a very personal level. You can write a man an email. Somebody once said to me, well, I saw another one of your Harry Potter novel emails. Yeah, with footnotes. I'm trying to explain to you all the ways that you have offended me here. And you will look at that and say, well, I read the whole thing. Okay, and what did we learn? What did I do to you? What? That's crazy. But, and I don't know if you guys saw this clip this week. There was this interview where this guy was talking and he's like, I'm a catch. I'm 6'4". I make over $100,000 a year. That makes me a catch. And this woman was like, but what about your character? What about your emotional intelligence? I really do think when they say men are from Mars, women are from Venus, like the fact that men and women come together at all and make sense is wild to me. But Tim is a mess. Tim is a whole mess. And I say that with as much respect and distance as I can muster. But Tim is a mess. And he was hypercritical and he was very deeply he didn't extend any grace, any empathy, any care. He keeps screaming, I was trying to love you. Well, then love someone. Love is not just about the feeling, it's about the verb. Be there for them before you're there for yourself. Everything was about what you did to my family, what you did to my thing, the fact that she said, you read my dad that letter and then 2 days later you broke it off. That's what she said. That's what she said the timing was. My whole thing is, initially I was like, you guys heard me. I was like, well, Alex, that's your fault. You're the one that took this seriously. You're the one that, I doubt she told him to write that letter. I doubt she told him to make that was Tim's choice. And to do all of that and to be like, but I have doubts. That is, if I was Alex, I probably would not have given him as much grace as she gave him online. Oh, And I thought this was funny. He was like, tell him what you called me. What would you call me? You called me out my name. I already knew what she called him before she even said it, because I was thinking it in my head too about how he was acting on that stage. Yeah, I was completely wrong about Alex and Tim, but I was wrong because of the edit that I got. They gave Tim the hero edit. Tim is not a hero. And also, he looks old. He is about 32, 33. He looks a little older. I hope for his sake, because I do think he wants to be married, he wants to be in a relationship. I hope for his sake he understands that love is not just an idea, but it's a verb. Like, you do actually have to be doing you do actually have to be doing things for someone. And it's also not just like service. Like, I cooked this whole meal, I washed the dishes. It's also understanding that your partner is tired. Let him take a nap. It's also understanding that it's not a competition for who the best person in the situation might be. It's about filling in each other's gaps. And most importantly, it's about making that person feel cared for, and nurtured. Tim is the kind of person where, we thought Ramses was, and that Ramses might still be, but Tim is the kind of person that if Alex gave birth and she had, her vitamin levels dropped, or she was dealing with postpartum, he would make it all about him. We saw it. So she was delivered from a terrible situation. I think she would have tried to go along with it and continue to be accommodating. She was definitely delivered from a terrible situation. And I was wrong about her. I was wrong about Alex, and she looked amazing. She said she designed her dress because she works in fashion. She looked absolutely amazing at the reunion. Very beautiful girl. I hope she finds someone who has the space for her. I don't think, as women, and I know I'm learning this as I get older, but it's so important. We often say like, the woman is the carer and the nurturer, and she is, the one that's supposed to be the softer partner. But it is so important that the man, if you're talking about heterosexual relationships, that the man has that character too, that he knows how to care for and to nurture and to be soft with you. With all the things that our bodies go through, hypothetically, if you're in a situation where your body's going to go through a lot, so you're going to have babies, and even without that, I mean, just having a period every month, the things that can happen with your reproductive system. I mean, you might, have PCOS, you might miss, and then after all that, you go through menopause. And then, there's just so much that happens with us internally, where we need to be shown softness and care and grace from our partner. And then not to mention our very ornate and expansive emotional worlds. If you know a good man and you have one in your life, you're married to one, you're dating one, you're related to one, go after this reunion. I mean, listen, I only know one good man, and that's my dad, and maybe my uncle and my cousin. It is a short list. But after this reunion, I'm like, I need to go and give them all a hug and just kind of a knowing nod, because whatever Tim was displaying is the opposite of what I've seen in my life. And these men that I'm talking about have been married or partnered for years. And I just don't know if he'll ever get there, because he's got to take himself off of a pedestal. I was wrong about Alex and Tim. I was also wrong about Ashley and Tyler, and not in the way you guys might think. So I have been definitely on team Ashley, what the hell? Because I wanted to respect them. I wanted to love them. I thought they were great visually, And by the way, I'm going to come out and say it on camera, because some people were clowning me about it in my last Love is Blind specific video. But yeah, I think Tyler is cute. I think he's very cute. Okay? I do. And you know who else I think is cute? Ramses. Okay? Listen, if he didn't dress like a Disney villain from Princess and the Frog, if that man dressed better, in my opinion, I don't like anything he puts on. I may have said, you know what, Lord, send me one of them, but don't make him, not up here, but out here. Yes. That height, those hands, that jawline. I mean, you just look at him and you're like, you dressed like a circus clown from the 1850s, but you probably smell so good. I'm attracted to him. But anyway, let's go back to Tyler. Tyler is giving Midwest, like, football player hunk. Like, when he walked into his bachelor party, I didn't really want to look at the screen because I don't like him. But I was like, he is serving thick thighs. And I'm sorry, but not a rounder, but as a thicker girl who's always had a little junk a little junk, as somebody with a certain body build, that body build is very attractive to me. Also, he's got freckles. That's so cute. Also, that little smile, that boyish smile that his son and his two daughters have as well is super cute. Tyler is cute. Okay. Anyway, I liked how they looked together. Ashley, to me, is gorgeous. Oh, I said in one of the videos, I said Ashley is like the prettiest one that we've ever had. And then the AD showed up and told me to shut the hell up. She looked gorgeous. She looked like a gold statue. And I just want to let everybody know I was supposed to have AD's body right now. I was supposed to have AD's body, but unfortunately for me, I tried to dance in September and I ripped my ass. So I was on the couch trying to relearn how to walk and not hurt myself. And then I got into October and I just didn't get back onto it. So next year, but AD showed up just looking gorgeous. I think all of the Black women that show up for Love is Blind, all the women, but specifically I want to call it the Black women, beautiful girls, beautiful. And AD showed up and told me to shut up. Shut my ass up, okay? She is gorgeous, but so is Ashley. Ashley's a beautiful girl. I thought her and Tyler were great together, and I really wanted to like them initially. I didn't like how he dressed. His clothes, ripped jeans as a man, but he's so cute. He is, and she's a gorgeous girl. And I wanted to like them optically. I also wanted to like them for the things they stood for. And this is what I'm wrong about when it comes to Ashley and Tyler. And this is hard to, okay. So basically, Ashley is the kind of person who wanted something and got it and was prepared to do whatever she needed to keep it. And I know myself and a lot of the internet have framed her as weak because of this. You know, this man asked you to marry him and he was hiding 3 whole babies. This man might have been hiding even more than that. You know, she claims she knows all of the truth, that wasn't nothing a surprise to her. And I also want to say the reunion was filmed before Tyler's baby mama came out and said, well, actually. So, but I do believe that I'm not sure what Ashley knows, but one thing I do, it's hard for me to say this because it's not true. It is true, but it's not true. Here's what I'll say. Ugh, it's hard for me to say this. I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'm wrong. Kind of somewhere. I respect someone who knows what they want because I understand that the chances that we get in life to experience certain things are not innumerable. And that's something that age has taught me, being 40 years old, unmarried, no kids. There was a conversation happening earlier this week or over on TikTok, and I'm probably going to bring it to my YouTube channel as well. But it was about women who are reaching the end of their fertility and they still want to have a baby. They still want to get married, but they never found their partner. And one thing that youth does is it gives us the illusion of everlasting opportunity. We think, okay, this person messed up or we're in a situation that's real bad and I don't have to deal with this. And we walk away. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. But I am saying that when she said, don't insult my intelligence, that taught me 2 things. First of all, it taught me that this was a person who may have done her due diligence and he may have told her a different story. She might know more than we think she know. And the second thing was it taught me that this was a person who meant it when she said, I'm getting married and I'm not letting go. And I have to note, I kind of respect that because as a woman who is older, who probably won't get married because there were a lot of situations that were red flaggy and I left them behind and rightfully so. I do respect somebody finding something and seeing so much value in it that any negativity that follows it is secondary. And I also respect, I want to say this about Tyler, I respect someone who is actively trying to turn over a new leaf. Now, I don't respect babies being left behind. I don't respect babies wondering where dad is. I don't respect that at all. And I wish that that's what would have gotten straightened out for us on the show. Not not the fact that, oh, we already knew about the kids. Yeah, but do they know about you? Do they understand where daddy went? I think his whole bit about, yeah, I celebrate holidays with all my friends' kids. Do you celebrate holidays with all your friends' kids wearing shirts that say dad on duty? Yeah, it got really shaky with a friend. Shaky because y'all made babies the natural way. But and this is what I don't respect that. I don't respect their version of events, but I do, on a separate angle, respect someone saying, when I got married for all of it. This is a once in a lifetime love and connection for me, and I'm not going anywhere. And I'm going to be real with you. There are some connections in my life, nothing like that. But there are some connections in my life where I do wish one or both of us had that attitude. Maybe I wouldn't still be single to this day. Now, I don't, the situations that I walked away from were valid. I had people saying, girl, what are we doing? What is this? But I also know, in retrospect and reflection, well, perhaps if we had tried this, perhaps if we'd had this conversation, perhaps if I had been able to compromise on it. And I like how Tyler said, I didn't really know how to compromise in relationships. I'm learning. Ooh, if that hasn't been the word of 2024. Okay. But sometimes people can't do it. They can't figure it out. And sometimes they can. And I just know life is very short. So I'm not judging her for still marrying him because he had that messy ass past with all them kids. I'm not judging her for still marrying him because of the threesomes. I'm not judging her for still marrying him because he messed up his first engagement when he was in his 20s. I'm not judging her for still marrying him because he had babies with his bisexual or lesbian friend. The only thing that I am still judging is it your fault that he does not have a relationship with these children? And in marrying you, is it the age-old tale of, oh, well, daddy got a new family? Because I know how much that hurts people. I see the social media posts. I know people in real life. My dad moved on and started a new family, and now we don't have him anymore. And that is so hurtful, especially for that baby boy that he stepped up for. And all I hope is that when she goes to sleep at night, she is at peace with that aspect. And so I'll never fully like endorse or say, oh, hey girl. Like I tend to, when I've been wrong about somebody or when I like someone, I tend to like stand 10 toes behind them. I.e. Marissa, I posted, what's her name? Alex in my story today. I said, I fear I may love her. But Ashley, I'll never follow her on social media. I'll never endorse. Because I can't get over that. These are babies who knew a daddy, who knew a friend, who have his whole face. Does he not love them at all? He still made somebody else a single mom, and he grew up as a single mom. So I can't say I'm completely wrong about Tyler and Ashley. The only thing I will say is that I do respect saying, this is a once in a lifetime kind of love, and I'm holding on to this because I know we don't get innumerable chances. And some people break up with someone at 30 and they never have another relationship again. And every time I see like very young women in their 20s, women, they get online and they're like, why would you do this? Why would... We don't have forever. Sometimes things happen. You get pregnant, you keep the baby because that is your only opportunity to become a mom. And for some of us, we feel that in a very spiritual, very primal way. And, sometimes you're with a guy and he ain't shit. And you do forgive things because it is a love. You do feel connected to him. And like I said before, when you're young, you have the illusion of, I'm going to have these opportunities forever. Lose one guy, here comes another guy. But that's not always how it works. I just wish that they had been honest with us as an audience about what his real relationship is with those children. They focus so much on his feelings and they let him sit up there and cry or whatever. But what about the babies? What about the children? What about the children? Tyler. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I'd like to move on. The next thing I want to talk about is my girl, Marissa. Now, I don't think I was wrong about Marissa, especially making that emotional video I made yesterday and posting it. Initially, when I was getting the feedback from the reunion before I had watched it, people were coming in and they were coming down hard on her for her behavior at the reunion. there was a lot of she was going in on Nick. I saw the clip of her saying, "Of course she did. I was still in that man." Girl, oh my God. You are a whole lawyer. Listen, I have said that one of the things that I wanted to do before I tried getting back into another form of work that was outside of social media was I wanted to calm my page down. I ain't got no Twitter. I don't really be talking on TikTok. My YouTube, I try and keep it. I'm passionate. I got opinions, but I try and keep it, where I don't talk about my own mess too much. Any mess is old mess is out there, new mess, nah. Because I'm very aware that could impact future opportunities, that could impact future. And don't let me ever learn a skill. Don't let me ever learn how to do nothing. Cook, DIY. Because I'm taking all of me all off the table. I'm focusing on that because you want to be, if you work in the public sector, you work in the private, you want to have a personal brand that is safe. You don't want people to think that you're unhinged, even if we all are under the surface. And I say that because I wanted to definitely protect and stand up for Marissa in that moment where she was so vulnerable, crashing to the ground, crying, screaming, holding on for dear life. Because I don't think that should have been shown. And I think that was a very natural reaction. But baby, I do need you to rein it in a little bit when you're on this stage. Okay? This is like, just like that moment is captured forever. This is captured forever. You're a whole lawyer. Why are you telling everybody your extended business like this? Well, I'm gonna get to what she was talking about in a second. But when I say I'm wrong about Marissa, I don't mean I'm wrong to protect somebody's or to want to protect somebody's natural, like, passionate feelings. What I'm wrong about is listen, I don't support it at all times. I'll just say that. I do think there are some times where you should show restraint and everything is not about spilling over, right? And being, I felt like that was unprofessional to say that. And I also want to say this, Ramses, I don't think Ramses was wrong at all for anything that he did regarding the breakup. I think it's perfectly acceptable to wake up and be like, wait a minute, I can't marry this person. This is a lot for me. I'm not going to be able to deal with this. I also think Netflix did them a disservice, and I've said this before, by not allowing them to have their birth control conversation on camera and not fully showing that to us. I think it's an important conversation for the show. And I think it's an important conversation for the country. There are a lot of women out there who believe, as I did, because I don't tend to think about sex in terms of committed partner terms. I think about sex in terms of, I've got my own back. It's me against the world. You're here for a short time and not a long time. Like, I'm very hyper independent because I've never had a partner who's like, I care about you. Your body is my body. You are an extension of me. And whatever you put in your body is going to affect me. So I want to make sure we're doing the right thing. I ain't never had that. So it's always me for myself. And most of the women that I have their anecdotes about what they do for birth control, what they did, it was coming from people who were single and had to protect, or coming from people who were coming from an archaic school of thought where it's the woman's responsibility to make sure she's on an IUD, to make sure she's taking a pill. It's our responsibility. And when you think about the fact that ejaculation is a choice, but ovulation isn't, it is so crazy that we have always been controlling the wrong damn body when it comes to sex. We've always been controlling the wrong body. Always. At this point in time, vasectomies there should be billboards for them. There should be ads on TV. It should be something that is as simple when boys reach puberty. Okay, and when is your vasectomy scheduled for? Wonderful. Okay, it should be a foolproof, easy as pie surgery. It should be as simple as going in to get a cavity filled for men, because of the fact that we cannot control the way our bodies are built regarding reproduction. To simply be a woman is to suffer because you could possibly reproduce. That is so unfair. And that is a belief that conversation forced me to come to, okay? Because I was just like, take the pill, get on an IUD, why are you stressing? Hello? But it's not something that I've thought about in that way. And it's something that a lot of women have thought about in that way. And honestly, I would be real with you. I've been paying attention to other conversations. And there's women that have come forth and been like, being on birth control almost killed me, bro. You gonna take it seriously when I say I don't want to do that. Anyway, I felt like we should have been allowed to see their conversation. I loved how he explained it on camera. That did not come across when they were on camera doing the show. And Marissa even posted herself and said, we did use condoms. We tracked my cycle. We abstained when I was ovulating. He downloaded my period app. It's not like he was there to play. It really did. And so I really wish we'd been able to see that. I also loved how he handled her mom, which I think can be a challenge. And in general, I came away from this being more of a fan of Ramses as far as like how he conducted himself, and also understanding that, I'm going to say this, I think sometimes we can be so hurt by a situation that we can assume we're the victim and we're who people should feel sorry for. Like, I was so hurt here. But just because you were hurt doesn't mean you're the victim. I think Marissa so badly still wants it to be seen that way. And that's still her version of the story. And that's okay. She's still in pain. At one point she said, well, I didn't get a say in this breakup. You did get a say. He talked to you for several months after. She, in one interview, she said, we talked for 7 or 8 hours one day. I thought we would get together back then. No, that 7 or 8 hours was him thinking about it. And he said, no, you did get a say. All of that was your say. What you wanted him to say was, I'll still be with you. What you wanted him to do was come back to you. What you wanted him to do was ignore the fact that he loves you, but he knows you're not the right person for him. And that isn't what he did. And I think as much as I hate how much she was hurt, and as much as I hate the fact that we saw it, I also think, as somebody who is a heartbreak aficionado, one thing I have learned is my pain is not always their problem. Just because I'm hurt doesn't mean that they're wrong for walking away, and vice versa. And so it's something that you kind of have to get over at some point and accept that, hey, this person didn't love me. It doesn't mean that they hate me. They want the worst for me. And it doesn't mean that they're trying to toss me off the face of the earth. It just means they didn't love me in the way that they needed to be a part of it. And if, like his mom said, he did the right thing, or her mom said, he did the right thing. He absolutely did the right thing by breaking that off. I'm going to go really quickly into Marissa and Hannah. So, and I say Marissa and Hannah because I'm talking about Marissa, but I do want to say a lot of the internet got on her for defending Hannah. And I'm going to say this for you guys than for me. Y'all were wrong about Nick, and I stand 10 toes down on that. I never believed kind of like the act that he was putting on with her, because he seemed very muted and very much like he was not really participating equally emotionally in the situation. That's kind of like that woman's intuition thing that was rattling off within me that people tell you, oh girl, ignore that. You got, no. I never felt like he was equally there for her the way she was there for him, or equally there for the project. And it was, revealed that one of his goals, his 90-day goals, was to become famous from the show because a friend found a note. And what I think is crazy is if this was anybody else but Nick, because people hate Hannah so much, they skip over that. They skip over the fact that this man has literally said, I wanted to be so famous. That's why I joined the show. And everybody on the stage was like, but Nick, no matter why you wrote it or when you wrote it, that's still not the right idea for coming on the show. Like, that's not why you should be here. And social media is not, they're like, oh, they published his private note. Yeah, because it helps build the case that Hannah might have been a little bit snappier with him, a little bit more frustrated, a little bit meaner, because she felt that he did not want to be there. And then there was the whole conversation about how attracted he was to her. If Nick did indeed call this woman a grenade and rate her a 5 out of 10 after the reveal and she had a ring from him, he is a villain straight up. If that is what happened. And according to the men on the stage and according to everybody else, that is what happened. This man was never attracted to her. But because she was so forward and so clear and so direct about what he wasn't doing, I would even say that his sexual performance was probably because he wasn't attracted to her. He wanted to win. And I've always felt that way about him. And what sealed the deal for me was when he met Katie at the bar. Okay? If Katie said she wanted him and hadn't hit him with, but you're immature, you need to grow, Nick would have ran off with Katie. 100%. I felt that it was a very powerful moment when Katie was like, yo, I didn't know that you felt that way and that you were so upset. I don't know why she couldn't have known. I'm always aware, like if I'm talking to somebody, a guy or something that I know, a friend of mine, or somebody I'm with wants to talk to, like I'm always kind of aware, like, okay, how long, even if I'm talking to somebody's husband, if we haven't known each other for a real long time, I'm like, okay, I've been talking to him for a while. Where's wife at? Let me go get your wife and come back. It's a very sensitive thing. And so I feel like she had stuff she needed to say to him. So whatever. But I totally understood Hannah being like, what are they talking about over there? And I think in general, I didn't judge her as harshly because I realized somebody doesn't just act like that because they are, I mean, maybe I do think she's very rude. I do think she is a bully, but I also think she was attacking because she in some way felt attacked. And this is an unpopular opinion, but I was actually there for Marissa calling him out. And I think Marissa did that because of all of the women on the show. Hannah is the one that's on social media's chopping block. And that ain't nothing to play with. If you've never been there, even if you've never even been in, like, you've released a viral video, you've said something, you've had a damn tweet, you posted, and you have never had person after person after person coming after you and attacking you, you don't know how important it is to have people who know you and love you say, wait a minute. She don't always, I mean, she might have a mouth on her, but she's not an evil person. This was not a healthy relationship. We are trying to tell y'all. Nick is getting a great edit because he can play this guy. But Hannah's getting a lot of hate because y'all caught a bad situation on camera. It almost felt like Chelsea and Jimmy from last season. I know I judged Chelsea really bad. I was like, why is she crying? Why is she screaming? Why is she pushing him? Like, yes, I should have. But then we find out Jimmy's admitting to sleeping with his friends. Jimmy ain't coming home from the parties. Jimmy acting up. And they didn't show us that, right? Apparently a lot was going on off camera that Nick was doing and saying, sliding into people's DMs. This man wants to be famous. This man never loved her. And so many people believe in him. And it reminded me of the current election, right? Look what we do. Look how we forgive men and platform men because they get a good edit. You gave one guy a job as a hirer and firer on a reality show 20 years ago, and now we can't stop him from running for president because he gets a good edit. And people refuse to believe or understand when he's done something that is completely out of pocket. And now we got him going head to head for president of the United States. That's ridiculous. But that is something men can get away with. A lot of people were hard on Marissa because she went in on Nick, but I think she went in on Nick because she has seen her friend get decimated online. And if you've never been friends with somebody that's happening to, if you've never had it happen to you, you probably wouldn't understand why she was like, no, be honest. And I loved that Ramses was like, yo, if there's any time, Nick, to take accountability and to admit how you really felt about Hannah, now is the time you need to drop this act. And Nick finally dropped this salesman. He finally dropped the I want to be famous. And he finally said, okay, fine. Yeah, all right. I was underwhelmed at the reveal. And I want to say this. There's a reason why the concept of being seen as beautiful and desired by your partner is always so much of a bigger deal for women than it is for men. There's a reason why when you look at sitcoms and TV shows, you have this beautiful wife and then this short, schlubby, fat. Beauty for women and being seen as beautiful. If a man finds you beautiful, he will move hell and high water. There's nothing he won't do. That is 100%. That is 100%. A huge part of how a man falls in love. So if Nick saw her and was like, I'm underwhelmed, he would never gonna love her enough to do the things she needed him to do and to be there for her as a man. So again, I don't like how she spoke to him. I don't like people that speak like that to people, period. Me and Hannah would not be best friends. Lord, how many best friends does she have? We would not be best friends. I do feel that her saying, shh, I'm talking. Do you think you're Kamala Harris? What is going on? Girl. But at the same time, I understand people don't act like that for no reason. And sometimes people can say, there's no excuse for this. There's no excuse. Okay. Okay. Why don't we put the cameras on in your house and see how you talk? Why don't we put the camera? Okay. Okay. I know what I've seen and I know what I've said. And I know it's always been a reason. It's usually a Harry Potter document somewhere, an email where I wrote down all my feelings. People had a problem with her in that notebook when she sat down. Man, y'all hate me. Because when I get ready to talk about it, I be like, I want to make sure I don't skip nothing. And then, you say all that only for that man to say, but what are you talking about? I don't get it. Rule of thumb, if you have to pull out a notebook, if you have to write an email, you got to, it's too much. It's too much. I love that we got to see Taylor and Garrett. I love that Taylor said, whatever happens next, Garrett is home. Everybody looked at Garrett and his Oriental rug blazer and his surfer boy hair. And they were like, this is a Taylor edit. That is I'm getting laid on the regular edit. That man looks like he regularly is getting a good experience. Before it was like Boy Scout who fishes. I'm on my own. And now it's like, yeah, I've got a beautiful wife. I'm getting laid. What about you? I didn't really care about any of the other couples. I don't care about Monica and Steven. Steven is a freak who was wearing an outfit that was way too hot for him. His little red cheeks were just boiling. Apparently he has sleep apnea. I do think it's interesting looking down at social media and seeing all the different profiles of who people were and who they want to be post or who they wanted to be before they got on Love is Blind. So Steven's like a whole bodybuilder. Like he's done shows. And I had noticed that he had that build, like that lumberjack build, which by the way, somebody said that about Tyler and they use it as an insult. I love a lumberjack. I love it. But anyway, Steven had that lumberjack kind of build, but like 2 years ago, he was full on bodybuilder, like girl. I don't think that type of body like is necessarily attractive, but he had a totally different social media presence and he really does try and show up as like kind of a funny, silly guy. I don't know if he'll ever be able to be faithful to a woman, but whatever. Tyler, if you scroll down and look at his social media, he was trying to be a whole influencer, setting up the tripod, doing whatever he was doing. I think a lot of these people, there is an aspect of, I want to be famous. He said, I didn't even watch Love is Blind. Okay. That's what Tyler said. Nick obviously did. Other people obviously do. You see what people are able to do. I mean, AD has built an incredible career. Lauren and Cameron have built incredible careers. Micah, you can't keep her off reality shows. I think that people see that and they know it's possible. And so they're like, sure, I'll go on. I don't think anybody expects or looks forward to getting a bad edit or having a bad experience. And I hate that for them when that happens, if I actually like them. I don't think there's anybody here that I like that got a bad edit. And I'm wondering who will be like the big influencer from this show. And I don't think it will be anyone. Maybe Ashley could have done something, but she married Tyler and her relationship and her knowledge of those kids is so heartbreaking and miserly, and it comes off as very Mrs. Scrooge and like evil stepmom. And so no, I don't think I don't know. I don't but you never know. She's got the look and apparently she's got the connections already, like in the reality TV world, so you never know. I would love to see good things happen for Alex. I think she deserves it after getting shat on by me and other people the whole season based on the edit that we had. Garrett and Taylor is already the most followed woman with over 100,000, like 140,000, like almost 200,000 followers on social media. So she's probably the one that's going to have the biggest influencer career. Nick is sliding into DMs. He slid into Winter. I don't know her last name, but she was on Bad Girls Club and she has a podcast. He slid into Winter's DMs. I think he's just been trying to talk to whatever woman he feels like he can get after getting this exposure. And he knows so many women feel sorry for him. So I know Hannah, she tries to do like the get ready with me's and cook with me, et cetera, but her comment section be a mess. Marissa, I love Marissa. I love my feelings girlies. I need her to not post anymore. She just posted today a Notes app apology about her appearance at the reunion. You didn't, in my opinion, you didn't do anything wrong. You stuck up for your friend. If people understand that, they had never been in that situation. Nick deserved to be called out for his duplicitousness. People see it as ganging up on him, but Hannah's been getting that since the show aired consistently. And it was time for something to be said. He should have just been honest. However, don't say nothing else about you and Ramsey's relationship. don't say nothing else, and give yourself a break. Like, back away. That's what I would tell her. Yeah, this is the end. This is the end of the season. It has been great going through this with you. Apparently, next they're going to be in Minneapolis. So those of you who only watch my channel when I talk about Love is Blind, I guess I will see you in February around Valentine's Day when they're in Minneapolis. And that is the end of this video. As always, thank you for watching.